In early 2023, I was walking past the rows of university students, all hunched over their laptops, when something caught my eye. Nearly every single screen that I passed was split. Half work, half AI chatbot. I'd love to stand here and tell you that mine wasn't. I would never do such a thing. But of course it was. It still is. But more on that later. That moment made me realize, it made me wonder, are we using AI as a tool or a solution? Now, let us take a step back, because if it were so, this wouldn't be the first time that we outsource our cognitive skills to technology. Paper helped us to forget. Autocorrect weakened our eyes for typos. And, well, calculators replaced much of mental arithmetic. Thank God, don't ask me the square root of anything. Not today, not tomorrow. I find it deeply offensive. But while historically technology has freed us up for other, often higher pursuits, this also begs the question, what will we surrender next? With artificial intelligence, especially generative AI tools, conversational agents like ChatGPT, the script gets flipped. While previous tools chipped away at mostly isolated tasks, generative AI reaches into the core of how we reason, judge, and solve problems. And we let it. Why wouldn't we? Drafting proposals? Polishing passive-aggressive emails? Do I need to get fired in this economy? And what was it? Oh yeah, writing high school essays on the importance of integrity. Generative AI can do it all. But if a tool shapes the way we think, even to such a small extent, even if all you use it for is polishing your emails, we owe it to ourselves to understand how such tool works and how it doesn't. Generative AI does not understand us. Not in our human sense of the word. It predicts. It predicts the next best token, a word in this case, based on probability, not meaning. But regardless, with its elegant architectures and enormous processing power, it generates responses that appear and feel intelligent. If you have spent any time with these systems, you know that they are exceptionally smart and ridiculously stupid. They come and carry the bias of their training data, not always as clearly visible as here. And they, of course, hallucinate. I cannot count the number of times I have been recommended the perfect article to read, just what I was looking for. So I click on the generated link just to find out, again, it's not real. It was made up from scratch. Now, despite these flaws, generative AI use has been skyrocketing. Just last month, ChatGPT alone surpassed 500 million active weekly users. That is more than the combined population of all EU states. What I'm trying to say is, AI is here to stay. It cannot be rolled back, whether we like it or not. I am not a policymaker myself, nor am I an educator. Today, I stand here as a neuroscientist in training, merely to appeal to your personal responsibility, one I dare say we all have towards our brains. Our brains follow what is often called the use it or lose it principle. The brain grows stronger when challenged, weaker when neglected. Cute metaphor, except I am not speaking metaphorically. We see this in brain scans. You might have heard of a pivotal study by McGuire and others from early 2000s. The one with London taxi drivers, those who have spent months, often years, memorizing every single street in their city. What researchers found is that their hippocampi, that is an area of the brain associated with memory, but also spatial orientation, grew in use, from this use. Why am I telling you this? Well, flip that. What happens if we fully outsource our internal compass, our ability to navigate entirely to GPS? Yeah, I could stand here and tell you that this dims our internal compass, that research suggests is a vast body of research, matter of fact. In other news, the sky is blue. We all know this intuitively. We've all been there, saying, oh no, I can navigate home, no worries. After a sufficient amount of embarrassment, what do? We accept defeat, open Google Maps, and we're off, following the blue brick road. Now, you might think this is not a big deal. Most of us live in concrete jungles. Half of the time, all I need to do is know which metro line I jump on. But we're talking artificial intelligence here. And while the tech is new, the principles, they stay the same. Except that now, we are moving further up, all the way to the utmost frontal part of the brain, to our prefrontal cortex, the seat of our critical thought. This is where that little voice in your head lives, the one that whispers or shouts, I don't know what yours does, stay safe, but it is the one that goes along the lines of, what is she talking about? Is she making sense? Did she really think heels were a good idea? That's a lack of critical point on my side. What is the evidence of that? If I heard the counter-argument, would I still believe what I now believe? Let's hear it. Can you imagine losing that? Just radio silence. Getting lost without GPS is one thing. But losing our ability to form coherent thought, that's a different kind of disorientation. Which is why, now perhaps more than ever, time has come for us to rethink thinking in the age of AI. But how? We have established these models are here to stay. Their usefulness undeniable, their integration full speed. With some of the sharpest human brains shaping development in artificial ones, this train will not stop. So how do we get on board without losing our critical thought on the way? Can we? Maybe you're thinking, I know, I got it. I'll just avoid it entirely. Maybe that's what you've been doing all along. And sure, that ought to protect you. But it won't save you from the world that's moving forward with it. Opting out of AI doesn't make the world slow down. It just means you miss out on tools that have been shown time and time again to boost performance. But not just that, I wouldn't be here to talk about productivity. It accelerates learning and improves understanding. I wholeheartedly believe that there is a way. One that doesn't require us to shake this world-shaping technology and doesn't bring about the end of independent critical thought. I think this way comes through mastering the tool before it masters us. And that starts with how we communicate with these systems, through the skill of prompting. Prompt engineering, if you're as pretentious as me. Now, prompting is more than just a typing command. It is a way for us to protect and shape and train our minds. While uncritical acceptance of AI's outputs dulls our brains, skillful use of prompting can and does sharpen us. You might find that once you have mastered this tool through the skillful use of prompting, a genius will have moved into your basement, as some have put the experience. Sure, they still hallucinate, but so have many geniuses. Now, after spending a truly concerning, atrocious amount of time speaking to the genius in my basement, I have friends, and my mom loves me. I have come up with a guide, just 3 rules, a map, if you will, which you will. This is a self-aware TEDx. We're doing this. This is my guide to not losing my mind or the joy of learning, using one of the greatest tools ever made available to us. And I would love to share it with you today. First things first, we're not going to get around this one, are we? We need to learn how to prompt. Why? Because you mold what you prompt. You mold what you prompt. Amazing. AI is a mirror. Ask shallow questions, you will receive shallow answers. Ask with curiosity, ask with intention, and you might gain insight. Next time you're stuck on a problem, you're reading a paper and you're thinking, what even? How about first, instead of asking for a superficial summary, I know you're guilty of that, I am guilty of that. Don't just ask for a summary. How about you ask AI to explain it to you like you're 12? Works like a charm. This is where I am stuck mentally, it turns out. But there's no one there to shame me. And then, don't stop there. Keep identifying gaps in your knowledge and ask again. Because we don't learn by copying outputs. We learn by figuring out what to ask next. That's very nice, but asking the right questions is not enough. We must also learn to question the answers. AI doesn't know right from wrong, you might have noticed. But it does seem quite confident about everything it says. Exhibit A. You've been asked some questions today, and you are to be asked many more. I can assure you, dear audience, that none is as pressing as the following. Has anyone here ever seen a baby pigeon? Exactly. My AI agrees with me. It is about time we face the truth. I love lingering here because there might be one person here who's thinking to themselves, is she about to spiral into bird denial, just fully? This is why we need to be careful. AI is the perfect confirmation bias machine. Unless we prompt it to challenge us or challenge it ourselves, it won't do it on its own. This is where we ask follow-up questions. Make AI play devil's advocate. Make it argue against itself, whatever it is. But don't just run with the outputs. Because if you do, you leave yourself unprotected from those biases, hallucinations, and just straight up lies. Pigeons are real. We'll talk later. Finally, pause before you paste. We are not Ctrl-C, Ctrl-P machines with an AI detector open in the other tab. We have agency. So use AI's outputs as suggestions, not scripture. This is the time to ask yourself, do I actually understand this? Is this how I would put it? And, am I just using it because it sounds good and it's given to me on a silver platter? This is the time to reflect. This is the last station before AI's output becomes your belief. So please do pause. And there you have it. We can and should let AI be our compass, guiding us, pointing us to new directions. But remember, you hold the map. This is how we protect critical thought, through critical AI use. This doesn't have to be the end of critical thought as we know it. It can reshape how we practice it. These aren't just tech skills either. I wouldn't be preaching about those for this long. They transfer into real life quite beautifully. After all, interfacing with another intelligent system or being, it's far from a useless skill to have in this life. We are all conversational agents, after all. AI is often framed as humanity's savior, more often its villain, but it is neither. AI is a tool, and tools are what we make them. Through a self-respecting relationship with AI, it can be our greatest ally yet, but only if we keep showing up as thinking partners. Otherwise, AI will master us, but no doomsday scenario is needed. The immediate threat of AI doesn't lie in some sci-fi-esque apocalypse, but in a more quiet, cognitive corrosion. By the time Terminator comes knocking on my door, I might be too dumb to notice. I thought that line was really witty, but I didn't write it. AI did. Did you catch it? Could you have? If I wouldn't have written a word of this speech, whose loss would it be? This is your brain on AI. Use it well. Thank you.